Welcome to the greatest game show ever, the finals. Today we're gonna be talking about what used to be their best AR, the FCAR. We'll be going over the weapon stats, the recoil pattern, and how to truly use it at all ranges to bring it back to its former glory, as well as what gadgets to use it with.
Let's get this started.
That's right, Scotty. Let's begin by looking at the latest patch for the FCAR back in Season 2. We see a reduction in damage per bullet to 22, but 5 more rounds per magazine, meaning that each mag now does 50 more damage, but it will also take 1 more bullet to kill each class. With a time to kill on lights of 0.67 seconds and 7 rounds, a TTK on mediums of 1.22 seconds using 12 rounds or almost half a magazine, and finally a 1.67 seconds on heavies with 16 rounds. These TTKs make the FCAR still perform against lights and heavies, but suffer against mediums where it would lose to both the AKM and the FAMAS. Talking about stats, let's now look at the FCAR stats. Looking at these numbers, what the FCAR seems to be offering is the damage at range and the reload speed of 2 seconds, which is the fastest out of all the ARs. To fully grasp these stats, we should compare it to the most similar weapon, which is the AKM. While you're looking at these stats, I remind you to like the video if you're finding it useful. Let's now put both weapon stats on screen. Now we can see that the DPS is pretty much the same, where the difference is a mere 2 points. Now the FCAR has much better damage at range, but that doesn't really matter because most of the engagements in the finals happen between the 5 and 20 meters. So on paper, the number that makes the FCAR truly shine is gotta be reload speed, giving you 0.3 seconds more to be killing your opponent that might have reloaded the AKM the same time you did with the FCAR. So you should be playing the FCAR as a hybrid of the model and the AKM, prioritizing movement and dodging while reloading, and aiming for the head while shooting. So we've seen the numbers on paper of the FCAR, it's time we start talking about how we use it. A small issue that I want to be covering before moving on to the recoil pattern is the sights, or rather I should say what sight you should be picking. Now in Season 4, every single weapon has got access to 2 different sights, the iron sight and, in the FCAR's case, its iconic nostalgic hollow sight. Both sights are a one-time scope, but while the iron sight might be taking up less space on the screen while hip firing, the holographic sight would probably give you a clearer picture at further ranges. Beyond that difference, they don't offer anything more than that, they're purely aesthetical. Now we're going to be covering one of the biggest flaws of the FCAR, what keeps most players away from this weapon, its wretched recoil pattern, and in this video's fashion we'll be comparing it to the most similar to the AKM. So let's have a look at the FCAR recoil versus the AKM's recoil. At first glance you might be thinking that the FCAR's recoil is much nicer, is much more manageable than the AKM's, but upon further inspection we can see that we get a pretty high jump from bullet number 4 to bullet number 7, giving you that nasty right kick pretty much as soon as you start firing. While the AKM's recoil is much more linear with more consistent recoil strength for each bullet. But how do we mitigate this recoil? One of the methods used is shooting before aiming. Let those nasty bullets fly off the weapon and then aim to finish off the opponent. But this video is not about wishing that we get a lucky hip fire with those first few bullets, most likely wasting precious rounds out of the thin mag that the FCAR already has. The best way to use the FCAR would be to ideally compensating left for the recoil pattern that it has, or much easier, readjusting your sight once those rounds have been shot. About right here. At exactly 18 rounds, that's when the recoil becomes easy. Try to get used to that rhythm so that you can just anticipate when you should be readjusting your sight. Now we're in for the juicy part of the video, how to use the weapon at all ranges. Before we begin though, I suggest turning off the dispersion reticle and turning on the static reticle. Beginning with the engagement from the 0 to 5 meter range, we see the FCAR performing much better in hip fire. If you're having a hard time in a hip fire, try crouching. That will make the spread much tighter, but it will also make you easier to hit because you're gonna be losing on the strafing speed. Also, remember to switch from aiming to hip fire to better track those light players once they get in your 5 meter radius. A gadget that can really help the FCAR is the glitch trap. You can just throw one down as you're fighting a light player and that will stop them from using the dashes, helping you in those close quarter engagements. Now moving on to the 5 to 20 meter range, which is hopefully the range where most of your engagements will happen. The most important thing in this range is prioritizing aiming and managing the recoil that we just looked at. Try to still aim for the head, but don't waste rounds, because yes, the reload speed is fast, but those are 2 seconds where you're vulnerable. Now, because we're worrying about aiming, you should have been caring about strafing speed. So try to crouch mid-gunfight just to break your profile and prevent the opponent from shooting your head. For the final tip at this range, with this gun specifically, try to engage with only one gunfight at the time. You kill the guy, rotate, reload, and then you can engage again. You just don't have the magazine for more than one. Just to do a quick recap of the tips from the 0 to 5 and 5 to 20 meters, transition aiming to hipfire, aim for the head, do not waste bullets, engage, rotate, and reload. These are the main tips. Now we can move on to beyond the 20 meter range. And finally, the 20 to 44 meter range. Why exactly 44? Well, that's because that's the maximum fall of damage, which has a 55% multiplier, meaning 12 damage per bullet. Beyond that, every single bullet will still do 12 damage. Now, at this range, the objective is not mainly to get kills, but it's mostly preventing your enemies from pushing your cash out or maybe pushing you. The idea is that you're just suppressing the enemies. The biggest problem at this range is obviously going to be the recoil, so just try to remember the tips from the 5 to 20 meter range. Maybe try to go over the recoil pattern section of the video again, but most importantly, try to jump into a quick match before ranked and world tour. That's very important. Better yet, jump into the shooting range and try to get that recoil checked. And last but not least, the very final part of the video, what gadgets and specializations to be running with the FCAR. So we've already seen the glitch trap in a previous part of the video, but to quickly go over it again, it's really effective against light players using dashes, which massively help the FCAR in those close quarter engagements where it struggles due to the limited amount of bullets that it has. Every respectable medium player always brings a mobility gadget, jump pad or zipline that it might be. In the FCAR's case, I like a whole lot more a jump pad. It's quick and easy, allows you to go for fast repositioning and escapes, and also gives you the ability to gain the advantage on an unsuspecting enemy. For the final gadget, while it's still there, you could never go wrong with a defib. Other valuable alternatives would be grenades, APS turret, or Dead Reshaper. Just pick what fits your playstyle the most. For specialization, the most fun special of the medium, the dematerializer. You see it being played at least once in every single triple medium team because it's really good to attack objectives from unexpected angles or to quickly rotate to save your life. Just don't be surprised if, while you're trying to run away, opening walls for you and closing them behind you, you get effortlessly chased down by a medium using the same special, or by a heavy breaking up the walls using charge and slam, which is much more popular right now. And there you go, you've reached the end of the video. I really hope this was useful to you and that you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe for more, and what else are you waiting for? Go play the finals, man.